Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mind Unravelled. Today we're breaking down something that seems simple on the surface yet is very complex: stress and anxiety. What they really are and how we can understand them better. Today I'm joined by Seema Taneja, a counseling psychologist with over 30 years of experience supporting teens, parents, and working professionals. She also specializes with depression and anxiety. Hello, Ms. Taneja. Lovely to have you here.
Good evening, Saira, and thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor to be here on your podcast.
It's an honor to listen to your insights. So let's dive right in. Can you tell me what is stress and what is anxiety?
Stress and anxiety are two words that are used very, very often. They have a lot of similarities, but they do have a lot of differences. So let me talk about stress first, right? So stress is basically our body's response, okay, to an external pressure or a challenging situation, right? Stress usually has an identifiable cause. It could be something like exams, it could be something like deadlines, it could be like a relationship issue or any major life change. Compared to anxiety, anxiety is something very internal, right? And it is a persistent worry, it's a fear, it's a what if, something happens. It's an apprehension, and there is no immediate cause, there is no situation. It's just an anticipation of a dread or something that we feel may happen in the future.
I think it's very important to know the difference between these terms because I know many adolescents use these terms interchangeably, at least I have in the past. Now, could you tell me what actually happens in our brains and bodies when we're stressed or anxious? Like when we're stressed or when we feel anxious, why do we feel those physical symptoms like a racing heart or stomach knots?
So, what happens to our brains now when we feel stress or we feel some kind of anxiety? There are two things that happen. One is that the amygdala, right? That's a part of our brain. That's the alarm center. Okay. So the alarm center goes off, right? It talks about an impeding threat that is in front of us. And that could be stress or anxiety, like it could be real or it could be imagined. Okay. And that then alerts the hypothalamus. Now, the hypothalamus, it sends a message to the sympathetic nervous system, right? That there is some danger and we need to protect ourselves from it or save ourselves from it. Now, the sympathetic nervous system secretes two hormones. One is adrenaline and one is cortisol. Okay. So what do these hormones do? They actually prevent the body. So let me go back to in the primitive times, our body was wired to protect us from wild animals or danger. So there was a stress, there was an impeding danger, the body would react to it, and the hormones would get secreted. Now, there are three, four things that happen because of the cortisol and the adrenaline. The heart starts pumping faster. Now, the heart pumps faster to send blood to the muscles. Okay, our breathing becomes faster. Our breathing becomes faster because you want more oxygen to go into the body. Our muscles become tense because they want to be ready to defend themselves. Our pupils become dilated because we want to remain more alert, right? Our palms become sweaty because we need that, that grasp. Now, a very interesting question is, why do we have nausea? Why do we have butterflies or, that something in the stomach? So what is happening is there is a brain gut axis. Okay. And at this point of time, all the oxygen goes to the limbs. So the internal organs and basically our digestive system, we don't need digestion at this point of time. Okay, so all all the blood and everything gets focused on the limbs, depriving the gut. Okay. Now the gut feels distressed. So it sends signals to the brain that, oh, I'm deprived of something. And so the gut tends to kind of, close within itself. And so you feel the knots, you feel the heaviness, you feel butterflies, and maybe nausea because of that constricting.
That was such a beautiful explanation. I felt like I was sitting in my ninth grade biology class again. All stress bad, or can a bit of stress ever be useful or motivating? How do we know when it's crossed the line into something harmful?
Stress actually is can be very, very motivating, right? And there is a happy stress that is called the eustress, okay, where we feel more alert, we feel more focused, we feel, I'll talk to you about this Yerkes Dodson curve, okay? So imagine stress as a bell curve, okay, right? So if there's absolutely no stress in life, we don't feel challenged, we don't feel motivated, we actually get bored. And as the stress builds up, as our challenges builds up, as we feel more motivated, we do better work, we get rewarded for it, we want to do more work. And then the challenge builds up, and this is the eustress. Okay. So this is the good stress that keeps us activated, motivated, thinking, challenging, and working. And then comes a peak. Okay, that's optimum stress where we are using our full potential and we're really working very well and we're getting rewarded and we're up. Now, if that keeps persisting for a very long time, then the burnout happens.
I wanted to ask, what are some realistic ways teens can manage stress and anxiety?
What usually happens in stress and anxiety is that we tend to get carried away by the feelings, okay? And we tend to feel our thoughts actually go into a loop, right? And that's what we call overthinking. So we're thinking about the impending danger, which could be either external, that is stress, or internal, that is anxiety. Then we begin to think, why am I thinking about this? Okay. So a lot of the thought loop is thinking about the anxiety and criticizing ourselves for the anxiety. And then we get so overwhelmed that we tend to get carried away with our thoughts. So the best way to deal when you're getting overwhelmed with these thoughts, and that I can actually show up in symptoms of, like I said, rapid heartbeat, sweaty palms, body shaking, and anxiety can go towards a panic attack, right? So when any of these symptoms appear, there are a few techniques that you can follow to ground yourself. We call these grounding techniques. Because when you feel you're getting carried away with your thoughts, it's very important to bring yourself back to the present. Okay. So I'll tell you about a few grounding techniques. There is one that's called box breathing. Because, like we said, that when you're stressed, your breathing gets, it's very rapid and shallow breathing. And calmness is a balanced breath. So this breathing is followed a lot by the Navy SEALs, the US Navy SEALs, when they go into something, a very stressful situation, they just balance their breath. So that's a count of four, breathe in, hold for a count of four, and then breathe out to a count of four. Now it's very important to understand how to breathe. Very often we don't breathe in the correct way. So what is the correct way of breathing? Just keep your hand on your abdomen, right? When you're taking a breath in, your abdomen should get pushed out. Okay? So expand your thoracic cavity when you're breathing in. What happens is that you're taking in the maximum amount of oxygen. And when you're breathing out, contract your thoracic cavity so you're flushing out maximum toxins. So when you begin to learn how to breathe, it's important to keep your hands on your abdomen to see the movement in and out, right? So practice one box breathing, like 4 inhale, 4 hold, and 4 exhale, right? Now there's another grounding technique that is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So wherever you are, just concentrate on 5 things that you can see. Okay, 5 objects around you. Just name those in your mind. Then 4 things that you can touch. Maybe your phone, maybe a piece of paper, maybe a table, a chair, whatever. Just 4 things that you can touch. Then 3 things that you can hear. 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Now, what are we doing? If you see the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we are activating all the various sensory organs, right? We are seeing, we are hearing, we are touching, we are tasting, and we are smelling. So when we are activating all the sensory organs, we are bringing our focus back into our body. Another very simple thing is eat well. Avoid a lot of caffeine. You know, a cup of tea or coffee is all right, but not more than that. So these are few things that you can take. And yeah, one very important thing is keep the body moving. We lead very sedentary lives today. And so the stress begins to get accumulated in the body.
Thank you so much for all these techniques. I think they're pretty much implementable. Otherwise, I wanted to say thank you so much for all your insights today. They were really, really helpful. And I wanted to say thank you for watching the video to everyone who's watching. And thank you, Ms. Taneja, for being here.